Well, let's bring you up to speed on what happened during our commercial break, and a lot did happen. On board with Sarah, and well, I'll let Larry explain what happens here.
Jacques Lazier went to the outside, tried to make the pass on the outside. Buzz Calkins of the red car kind of got in the way. Everybody got out of the throttle, and Andre Dory went around both of them, but as they came off, he touched wheels with Calkins and got into the fence. Tough break for Jacques Lazier.
The pole sitter crashes here on the 15th lap of the race. Here is another angle. Look at Dory go 3 wide in the corner.
That was an amazing move by him. Really, really a gutsy move by the young sophomore in this series. Just unbelievable.
You can see the touch right there as the left rear with the right front. That's a tough break. Now let's just take a look from this angle. Right there, you can see the smoke. That was the smoke from the touch, and just all you have to do is touch somebody at a racetrack like this, and it's so tight and so small that you're going to get in the fence.
You know, it's one thing we really didn't talk about much in the show open, and that is the traffic on this track. And the fact of the matter is that the leader, Buddy Lazier, has already put 5 cars a lap down. They're really moving through the field very quickly here, and lap traffic is going to be a much bigger factor than I think any of us anticipated in the pre-race show.
Oh, I think it will be probably the major factor in the race. The guys that can handle the traffic will be in much better shape than everybody else.
We'll get you up to speed here as we return. We've had another crash, and it involves Sarah Fisher. Let's jump on board and see what happened.
She's going through turns 3 and 4. Looks like everything's going well, and all of a sudden the back end just jumped around. You can see her kind of turn the wheel, and boy, once she turned it, it was already too late. And she hit the wall a ton with the left side of that car, and you can see heavy damage on that whole left side.
That's her second crash of the weekend. She crashed also on Thursday. She is out of the car, appears to be okay. Vince?
Well, Gilbert Lage, the engineer for this Sarah Fisher machine, you guys were fighting this thing almost all night long, weren't you?
Yeah, from the beginning the car was pushing a little bit, and no grip at all, front and rear. I'm sure a lot of people was the same kind of situation. We come in the pits, we make the little change to give her more grip, but 10 laps later, he has no grip at all, and the car comes loose on her, and she can't handle it.
We heard her say on the radio that it was just so loose she could hardly hold on to it, and then just a few laps later it went.
He's exactly right.
Sarah Fisher, another frustrating end for the Walker Racing team.
Sarah was taken to the hospital on Thursday. She was complaining of some neck and back pain after she crashed. She was taken to the hospital. They checked her over, and they released her. In fact, she was back at the track later on Thursday, but didn't take part in that practice period. And now she has crashed once again here at Richmond. Now we'll take another look at the replay and listen to the crash involving Sarah Fisher.
This is so loose. This is hard to hang on to it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, don't worry. Don't worry.
It's a common sentiment for a race car driver. I know me myself. I crashed up a lot of race cars. I don't know about you, Larry, but I crashed enough of them. And generally, your crew works so hard to get your car together, and particularly in a weekend like this, where if you have another incident, your crew thrashes and really works hard. And to have an ending like that, the first people you want to apologize to is your crew, who really put their hearts and souls into this every weekend.
Well, the onboard camera is still working on Sarah Fisher's car as it is being towed into the garage area after this incident. Here's the in-car camera crash.
That was turn 2. She goes down into turns 3 and 4. Everything seems to be pretty normal, but all of a sudden, under power, it just jumps out.
And we lost the camera at that point. Sarah is in the infield medical center. Now, that, of course, occurred in turn number 4, but most of the incidents here this weekend have been over in turn number 2. You'll get there someday, Jason.
Pits are closed, 91
and the pits are closed as another caution comes out. Jared Schrader was coming back onto the racetrack and apparently has spun coming out of the pits. Jared was the reason for the caution before this one because he stalled on the racetrack, and now as he was coming back on to the speedway, he spun again, apparently.
Yeah, you can actually see his skid marks right underneath this safety vehicle. Before that safety vehicle pulled in, you could see his skid marks there. I'm not sure whether he maybe made light contact with the wall. There he is right there, coming out under the pits. Now, he's still on the flat track right there, and it's very easy to spin your wheels on the flat track when you're on the apron. Wow, and he did make contact with the wall.
Yeah, that's a tough break because he just got on the throttle a little bit too aggressively. They're coming off, and you can see the smoke starting to roll as soon as he hit the throttle, and he just spun around. He did back in, and he did do some damage, probably to the wing and the rear end.
So the TriStar Motorsports car will be taken off the racetrack, and Sunday, ABC Sports brings you...
Stagger changed ever so slightly, and they measured the stagger on these cars in hundredths of an inch, not in quarter. Oh! Saw a little bit of a wiggle right there.
We got a crash.
91 June later.
Giaffone and Dare are both in an incident.
Oh, boy, that's really unfortunate. You got your second and your fourth, fifth place, sixth place car there.
Yep.
That's too bad.
Giaffone had just driven a terrific race, and Giaffone has had an incredible finishing record in this freshman year in the IRL. He has never finished outside the top 10. He's finished 6th, 4th, 10th, 10th, 2nd, and 7th, but it's not going to be that good tonight.
And you can see when Dare got out of the car there, obviously he's very unhappy with somebody. I don't know whether it's Giaffone or somebody else, but obviously he feels like he was wronged in some fashion.
Well, guys, the Ayrton Dare team was very excited when they found out that there was a yellow, because I just reported that they needed the yellow. But they were extremely disappointed when they found out the yellow was because their car was involved in the incident, obviously ruining their chances of victory.
Wow, and some great driving there by a couple of drivers. Eddie Cheever Jr., I believe, one of them, dodging the accident.
He was trying to sneak under Giaffone coming off the corner, and when he got on the throttle, it looked like he just did a little wiggle, and when he did, let's take another look at it. Coming off of this corner, they're side by side, and he wiggled a little bit, got his right front into the left rear of Giaffone, and both of them ended up in the fence.
Looked like Giaffone was giving him enough room and holding his line, didn't it?
That's Al Unser Jr. that drove through the crash
along with Eddie Cheever.
Wow.
So, yeah, look right here, right there. He did a little wiggle, and just when he couldn't correct it, he did get it almost corrected, but not quite in time before he got into the side of Giaffone. Tough break for both those guys.
Boy, being in Al Unser Jr.'s position and Eddie Cheever's position here, this kind of stuff gives you nightmares right here.
You just have to point it in one direction and hope it was the right move.
Yeah. He lost the back end, and when he corrected it, really took a jump and just turned to the right and got right into the side of Giaffone.
Well, not hard contact with either driver, but it was enough to break some suspension parts. Well, the pit
feeling confident, although running in second, because they have on sticker tires and they've got all the fuel they need. On the other hand, Salazar's running on old tires and he's low on fuel. So Cheever's group believes that they're in the right position right now.
Wow. And the green comes out at a close moment there for Cheever and Salazar as Cheever set sail, and look, though, at the...
When he had to get out of the throttle. Yeah, both those guys almost got together, and now look at Lazier. Oh, look at this!
Yeah, that was inevitable.
I think in Chile they're familiar with the phrase slamming the door as well.
Oh, man.
That is so unfortunate.
Eddie Cheever Jr. talked so much after the Texas race about pulling stunts like that, and I don't think he has anybody to blame but himself.
Boy, that's a tough break for Salazar. He had this thing pretty well in hand, and tough break for him, because Cheever was just so excited. He knew his best chance was going to be on that restart. He made one move, it didn't work, so he tried to make another going into 3, and there just really wasn't enough room.
Eddie Cheever Jr., running second, is out of the race. Eliseo Salazar, the leader, is out of the race. Buddy Lazier inherits the lead once again. Sam Hornish, Didier Andre, and Al Unser Jr. are the top 4 on the lead lap.
Didier Andre, the only other rookie in the field except for Felipe Giaffone, up into 3rd place because of that accident.
Yes, but he has run very, very well all night long. He's remember, he passed our leader, I think it was Sam Hornish, in 2nd earlier in the race, so he's been very much on the mark after going down a lap early.
Cheever climbs out of the race car. You notice he's wearing the Hans device, so many of the Indy Racing League drivers are wearing that this year. He appears to be okay. I know he's disappointed because he gave the Infinity a great run here tonight, but unfortunately, as he tried to take the lead from Salazar, they touched wheels.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to be very happy when he sees the replay and how things unfolded there, because it just looked like he got a little excited, got in there a little bit too hot.
And it's Eddie Cheever Jr.'s 5th DNF in 7 races this year.
This is Salazar back up here, up the racetrack a little ways. When they made contact, Eddie obviously went on farther down the racetrack, but Salazar still there as we see Eddie walking back toward the pit area.
Yeah, good to see Eddie's okay there. And actually, you can see the gray in his beard right there that Jack was talking about earlier. Some of the younger drivers here this weekend were actually referring to him as Santa Claus.
Well, it's a tough.
There is Eliseo, and he's getting out of the car, and will do so under his own power. They have the backboard right there, but he's going to be able to climb out of the car under his own power. Salazar's only IRL win came at Las Vegas in 1997. He tried to give A.J. Foyt his 7th IRL victory here tonight, but came up a little bit short.
Of course, Salazar was hurt very badly a few years ago. It took him about a year to recover, so I'm sure he's got the wind knocked out of him a little bit, but doesn't appear to have anything very badly wrong.
All right, let's take a look at some replays. By the way, that crash that you referred to, Larry, was at Dover in 1998.
Well, that's a tough call to make.
Wow, guys, that to me, that's one of those instances that both drivers are going to claim that they had the position and had the way to be there. That's one of those crashes that's just racing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. The first angle we saw, it looked like he kind of stuck his nose down in there. But from the other angles, it looks like he had he was up there a good ways, but tough break for both of them.
Here's a view that we had.
Yeah, he was, man, a tough break for both those guys. You know, this is one of the race like this, though, when you take a chance. We said they're going to wait till late in the race. Well, there's only, 30 or 40 laps left. He took a chance, Salazar took a chance, and it just didn't work for either one of them.
Late in the race, tired, dehydrated, lose your concentration for a millisecond. That's how quickly it happens. Make a bad error in judgment for 1 millisecond. Stick your nose in there a little further than maybe you should. Salazar doesn't look in his mirror quite as much as he should. This is what happens.
Yeah, it was a tough break, and like I said, both of those guys could have avoided that had either one of them just given away a little bit.
Yeah. Slow motion here as we ride with Buddy Lazier. He has the bird's eye view of what happened.
As you see right there, he pokes that thing right down there. Stop it right there. You can see how low he is on the racetrack. He's very, very low. Salazar right here is up more in the groove, but Salazar came down. By that time, Cheever saw that he was coming down and he got on the brakes, but he just didn't have enough time to miss him.
And Buddy Lazier drove right through it and drove into the lead once again. He has led 193 laps. Salazar had been the only other leader. Now Eliseo is out.
Jr. has just come out of the infield care center. And Eddie, tell us what happened during that incident with Eliseo.
I got up beside him coming out of, he had older tires than I did, coming out of 2. He went up high, I got up beside him, I was in the bottom line, and he just turned down. And there's just no place for him to go, no place for me to go and be collected. But I would definitely had enough room. Anyways, the officials will tell us what happened.
Eddie is, as you can imagine.
Did you get the subtle sarcasm in that, Bob?
Very unhappy at what has happened. Here it is from his onboard camera once again. This is down the backstretch.
Well, from his in-car camera, I have to agree with him. It appears that he was up there a long ways. But once again, either one of their spotters, I think, could have told them, give room, and they just didn't do it.
While we're under caution, we're going to take our last commercial break.
Way to go, Sam. Keep digging, keep digging.
Well, baseball tonight is coming up in just a few moments. We've got less than 5 laps to go in this Indy Richmond 300 for the Indy Racing League. The leader is Buddy Lazier. Eliseo Salazar led until a few laps ago when he and Eddie Cheever, battling for the lead, were involved in a crash. That gave the lead back to Buddy Lazier. And Sam Hornish is running in second position, but he's closely pursued by Al Unser Jr. Sarah Fisher was eliminated in a crash earlier. Jacques Lazier, the pole sitter, also crashed out very early on. But it could be a good night for the Laziers anyway, because Buddy could be on his way to victory here in less than 3 laps.
Yeah, and it appears that Unser's not going to be able to muster anything for him as Doesn't look.
Second lead conserved.
This could be a problem right here. She's running into some lap traffic. Like we said, you don't want to make a mistake like that this late in the race.
You see just ahead of him there, that's Felipe Giaffone, who was in that unfortunate incident a while ago. Looks like his crew got that car back together and out on the racetrack.
Less than 3/4 of a mile to go for Buddy Lazier from Vail, Colorado, when he'll have back-to-back wins in the Indy Racing League. Buddy Lazier.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Buck. Doesn't that mean that history was made here tonight?
Again, yes. It's the 6th career win for Lazier. It ties him with Scott Sharp for the most IRL wins, and Sam Hornish finishes in second position, holding off a hard-charging Allenser Jr. Vince?
Rod Himmelgarn, I'll tell you what, you guys did it again, back-to-back. Congratulations.
We needed that. We moved into second place now on the points. The Tybo Coors Light just ran perfect all night long.
Buddy missed the pit box, and then you avoided the accident in front of you. Sometimes you got to be good and lucky.
We got to be lucky. That's total luck. But car ran perfect. He ran a great race, and we're just glad to win another one and stay in that point chase.
Bob?
Well, Buddy Lazier is taking the victory lap. He moves to second in the point standings. We're unfortunately not going to be able to give you an interview with the winner, but here are the results. Sam Hornish Jr. finishes in second position. Baseball tonight, going to be coming up here in just a moment. We'll be at Kansas City next Sunday on ABC for the next IRL race. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long from Richmond International Raceway. Stop number 7 on the 2001 Indy Racing League schedule is ready to roll at Richmond International Raceway, and the green flag is out. We're underway. Everybody is through safely, and there's a great battle up front for the lead. Look at Darby.
Inside. No way. Unbelievable. Oh, no. There's a shot.
Yellow. It's behind. Track is clear. Don't get one.
We got a problem on the racetrack. We've got a car on the wall. That is Sarah Fisher. Sarah Fisher has made contact.
And of course, our leader putting Felipe Giaffone a lap down.
Both those guys almost got together, and now look at Lazier. Oh, look at that!
That was inevitable. Less than 3/4 of a mile to go for Buddy Lazier from Vail, Colorado, when he'll have back-to-back wins in the Indy Racing League.